Radiator, electric fan. When the car reaches a certain temperature, the fan comes, the switch makes a resistance, and the fan cuts in, pulls the engine down. This particular car, as I said, hasn't got a temperature gauge. Most cars have, all the basic baby small cars have it. When the fan either packs up, the radiator leaks too much, the water pump collapses, the light comes on saying stop. The dashboard, that means there's a problem somewhere with the temperature. That's just the way manufacturers designed to save money, rather than putting gadgets on it.
Is that the same thing as the actual heat in the car or air conditioning? The same system? Or?
Air conditioning, different system altogether. Heating is the same system.
So if when I put heating on my feet and it doesn't come on my feet, what would that?
There's the flaps inside the dashboard when you adjust the knob or the dial aren't working properly to bring the flaps into the right area behind the dash there. Yeah.
And as I put the engine on, I backed onto the slope, okay? I got this thing that said stop, brake problem.
Probably the fluid level was
It's
like
got
that.
like that, and I sort of took it down to level, I went very, very slowly round and round across the street. I thought, I wonder if that's what it was.
Fluid level, the reservoir I showed you,
Yeah.
it's got a sensor in there. Fluid level's gone like that, the sensor at the front.
Yeah.
It's seen a drop in the level,
Yeah.
lights come on. You level yourself, well, the float's gone back up. There you go. That's a bit like checking the engine oil as well. Only if the fluid already level
And
was
I was
low.
there for a long time. I might have been sat there for 6 hours on the slope.
That means fluid level was already low, but if it's not the right amount, that wouldn't happen.
It
Yeah?
wasn't. I mean, it wasn't there when I got it down at the time. And then,
Yeah.
then I got someone to come and check it.
So it might have been, yeah, I mean,
I
you
was
shouldn't, you
literally
shouldn't,
like this. Like, yeah, really.
yeah, that's probably why then. Okay, when we ring you up and say to you on your car, it needs X, Y, and Z for an MOT or this or something your car, some of the components are labelled. I'll run them through to you. This is called the lower arm or lower suspension arm because the whole weight of the car sits on this arm, as you can see. This is the this car's subframe, for the front subframe. Everything is bolted around this. There's your lower arm. That part I showed you is this part here over there. This is called the inner tie rod. There's a rubber boot protecting it. The rubber boot is split. It's part of the MOT. It's a failure. It's designed to protect the ball joint, which I showed you. If the ball joint fails, you lose your steering column. It's hard dangerous. Hence why it's part of the MOT. This is the track rod end or the outer tie rod. That's the inner one. That's the outer one. If we were to adjust the tracking on this car to make the wheels straight, this is what we would adjust. We'd undo this nut here. We'll undo this nut here and adjust this here with a spanner that way or that way. That will bring the wheel in or out. That's what we call tracking or wheel alignment. Yeah? That's what adjusts the entire position on the car to make the car drive straight. This is called an anti-roll bar. As the name says, anti-roll bar. So if you're going around corners and you don't want the car to lean too much over, these cars have these anti-roll bars which go into the suspension arm. Stops the car from wallowing. If you have a high-performance car or the cars that you see Formula 1 cars, these arms are about that thick. So when the car goes around the corner, it stays straight. When you have a big MPV, it goes around the corner because it's got a big body, because it's what we call waller. I call waller. That's my terminology. Goes like that. If you had changed that bar on that car, made it really stiff, when you go around the corner like that, you go around the corner like that. Fill everything with a bump system. That's what Formula 1 car is. Does that make sense? Anti-roll bar. As the name says, anti-roll, stops with rolling. So these have different designs. There's another design on this table that I'll show you in a minute. This basically, these rubber bushes protects the shock, the movement between the two when you go up and down over bumps and around corners. That takes a pounding every time you go over a bump. Lower ball joint. The whole wheel swivels on that. Again, it's a knuckle type joint. If there's a rubber boot here, as from January 2012, if that boot is split, it's a failable item. Up to that it wasn't. Well, the manufacturer turned around and said to us now, it's split, it's not doing the job of protecting the ball joint, so you fail it. So that is protecting the ball joint. We have had vehicles come in, you might have seen on the roadside with this wheel hanging that way. That's because the ball joint's collapsed. Drop down, and that's just gone straight out. That's extreme, but it does happen. I've had vehicles, vans towed in here, the boards are hanging off. Not much you can do. We have to do it on the roadside, we have to do it in our yard on the floor, the way you can. CV joint, constant velocity joints. The drive shaft from the gearbox drives the wheel, which is bolted onto here. There's a joint in here which goes left and right, up and down. It's got ball bearings inside it. There's rubber boots to protect it. It's packed with grease. When you go around corners, some of you might have gone around corners in the past, you hear clank, 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 clank sound on full lock. That's when your CV joint is gone. The ball bearings inside have gone deteriorated, like the hip joint. Everything's in a similar ball socket. All the rubbish has got inside it because the boot split, and all the rubbish from the road, the dirt, the salt, the crap that's got inside here, damage the ball joint. So when you go around corners, you're straining it, clank, 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 clank. That's your CV joint. Yeah? So CV joint, ball joint, track rod end, tie rod end, outer, inner tie rod. And all MOT items. Brake caliper, brake pads, brake discs. These wear every time you apply the brakes. Fluid from your brake, when you put your foot down on the pedal, that reservoir I showed you, I've got one on here, I'll show you in a second, pushes that fluid into pipes. That fluid comes into this pipe, pushes a piston out of here, pushes the pads out onto the discs, you brake. Pads on the other side. You brake. So that's already going forward with the wheel, motion of the speed of the car, or the speed whatever you're doing, driving the gearbox. To stop it, put your foot down on the brake, fluid has come out of here, pushed onto here, open the pads up, lock the discs. On the big high performance cars, the heavy cars, these discs are bigger. Pads, you might have only one piston, you might have two pistons to give it more brake efficiency. On the high performance cars, they have holes in the discs to help them cool down. Remember I said to you about boiling point in the discs? You're sitting in traffic and you're applying brake all the time, this gets red hot. The heat from here goes into the pads, into the fluid in here, and the brake fluid can boil. Brake fluid boils, you get brake fade. You put your foot down on the pedal, and the car's sitting in traffic and you got very hot. Extreme cases, the pedal will gush into the floor.